Chris, you've been doing this a while. What do you want to see on that first day? Did you see today what you want to see?
Yeah, one of the benefit of breaking the guys down today, I said, I just love this football team. I love how hard they work, the energy, the effort. By far, we have a reason to come out and practice tomorrow. We got a lot more work to do. But I really love the energy and the attitude of the guys when they come to work. This is just, from personnel all the way through, we just get a bunch of guys that love playing football, love practicing football, and they love being back here ready to get ready for another season. So it's fun to be out there with them. It's really a group thing, and the title puts me in this position, and I was very, grateful that John and Kyle felt that, some of the things I could take the lead on, like this right here. But there's other things, for example, our team meetings, instead of me running every team meeting, we'll split up an offense and defense, and Raheem and Clay will do things. We'll have some team meetings where maybe other people, maybe we'll have Boyer lead one and cover different things. Kyle is one of the greatest things he does is how he leads a team meeting and talks football, teaches the team football, teaches the team everything, and that's going to be more of a group effort than ever. It's not going to all fall on me. So, as far as certain things we'll all take a piece of, and that's how this thing's going to be done. So truly when John said what the release said, that listed my name, but then said it's going to be done with all the assistants. Well, obviously, Kyle Shanahan's an outstanding head coach and has been a great leader here and very successful. And obviously, him being on the field is awesome. Everything Kyle does, I really don't know the whole progression of what he's trying to get done. Obviously, he's trying to, do a little bit more every single day. So whatever that involves between the doctors, the trainers, and Kyle, that's in there. I really am not too familiar with how that's going to go. So wherever he is in his progression, he'll be trying to do, a little bit of everything until he's back to normal. Yeah, it was. Kyle came off and goes, "Do what you want to do, and if you don't want to do it, delegate it." So it worked pretty well. But we have such a strong, this thing. One of the benefits of being here, as long as we have been, is the thing has been set up very, very well. There's a good structure. When you do OTAs, you kind of set up the installation schedule. At least we have done this. I can't speak for everybody. Where we have a 7-day install, or I can't remember, 6 or 7, whatever. Install one, and we practice that in OTAs, and then we come back and do it again when we get to training camp. So literally, it's rinse and repeat when you get to camp what you did in OTAs. So the thing's been set up, and camp is, I don't want to say it's an autopilot. There's a ton that goes on. There's adjustments that have to be made and all sorts of different things that happen. But he's basically, we as a group, we kind of decide how we're going to, I look at things and say, like I woke up this morning and thought, what are we going to do when we jump off sides? Kyle sometimes repeats the play. Sometimes we, there's a ton of little things that the head ball coach kind of does, and that who's going to do it now. So as it comes up, we address it. I just have to think about a few more things to do. I still have to get my guys ready to play. The offensive line obviously is a huge piece to this puzzle, and us improving every single day and getting better up front. So that's been my main focus all offseason. And when this comes up, it's something that, you just, okay, you have to do this, or this, and somebody picks up that role, and I do that. Well, for me personally, I've always paid attention believe it or not, I have paid attention to what's been going on around me all these years, and so I have been close to some head coaches. It's kind of been the guys, and so I kind of always listened and paid, so whatever Kyle's done, whatever we've done, it's not like, wait, what do we do here? What do we do here? I've always kind of noticed. So now that it's like, well, I'll take up this, and Clay will do this, Raheem will do this, Boyer will do this. We have Eberflus here as well. Everybody could pick up a role. So that's all. And it's been recent. It's only been the last couple of days. I didn't know this was going to happen as it has the last couple of days. We'll see. It's his ankle. We'll see exactly what it is. And obviously, with all the injuries, so I know Kyle usually goes through the report. I'm not doing that. You can check. Corey will update you guys on that stuff. But we'll see. Hopefully, he's not that bad. Well, Connor had an awesome offseason. I would say through OTAs, he really established himself. I'll say Rob Jones done an excellent job since being here as well. Those two guys have really set themselves apart from the other guys. And then Dom Pooney's had an awesome offseason as well. So first day of camp, short still. It's like another OTA practice. We'll see how it goes, but Connor's still doing well. And as far as like one-on-ones, Oh, all of it. I'll look at, obviously, with this, I've always been asked to look at both sides, and that will continue to look at the defensive line. What's my opinion on CJ Day or this guy, or, that type of thing. So I'm always involved in the process.
Can you tell you, it seemed like after Lowe went down with his injury, Enrique Cruz immediately ran into left tackle. I know he's only been here a week or so, but can you tell, whether he spent the lag there studying, doing the right thing?
Really good. Yeah, Enrique's been a real plus. Everybody in the building's pleased with him. People come up out of nowhere from all over the building and say, gosh, that Enrique's doing a really nice job. He's really professional, really working at it. He has a learning curve like all the young guys do, and he's got a long way to go, but he's done all the right things to this point.
Chris, have you ever had 5 new offensive linemen in a room, and that makes you go to like Jake and Trent and Colton and try to, get those guys to try to take more of a lead because they are vets?
They do a great job. But it is fun. It does take you back to ground zero a little bit. We have to go back for everybody. It's not bad for Colton or Jake or those guys, Trent, to go back and start at ground zero again. It also, I approached the offseason differently this year. I kind of let those guys take some time away, and I met with them individually, the older guys, because I had to do more of the base stuff. But those guys do a great job of letting those players know exactly what I'm looking for. So if there's any question or hesitation, to have 3-4 guys in the room that could tell the 5 new guys what we're looking for, it really helps.
Chris, I think the guys where do you fall on offsides?
I love it. If I had, if they said do it, I say it's over. You don't get that play back. In other words, as coaches, you hate that because you're like, you hate losing the rep. But I want, the importance of the rep is that we stay on sides, and the way to learn to stay on sides, we don't get the rep back. So you don't get a rep to show us what you do on film. We've traditionally done, I've been everywhere else, and that was a long time ago when that was like that. Now we usually bury the reps. Sometimes we get back up and run again. The problem is sometimes you show the play. So it's the whole dilemma of you show the play, you do it again, and Fred knows what the play is. Or do you flip the play over and then run the risk of it's not run right or da-da-da, and then you say, what we did, we decided we just take it to the end of the little block of 4 or 5 plays that the ones are going and then repeat it at the end. That's all. Believe it or not, I don't like big speeches. I like to coach and talk a lot about football, and I like talking about technique and fundamentals and players and what's important about playing a game of football. Speeches, as far as, that it's hard for me. John made fun of it yesterday. I'm not sure, he didn't think I was a breakdown guy. And I challenged Grumpy, but I think maybe I am a little grumpy. But I do know that he said it was, I don't love the big breakdowns after practice. The problem is after practice, I may have an impression of practice based on 1 or 2 plays, and I could be completely wrong if I talk to the team afterwards about practice. That's my opinion. So I'm very careful to say this was a good or bad practice. Let's go watch the tape, and we'll decide if it was a good or bad practice. I can have an impression, but I struggle with, that's why I struggle with the big speeches. I got a little fired up today because I was challenged yesterday, so I got a little bit fired up and told them how fired up I was to be a part of this team and how much I love the way they practice and the energy they bring every day, and got a lot to work on. We'll keep working.
Chris, during this time, is it going to be like you're calling Kyle at night, he's telling you things that he wants to see, or is he's truly kind of removed outside of just being around the facility?
Well, he's here. He's a part of things. When he's here, he's listening to everything. When he's not, he knows what's going on. This is, like I said, I don't want to say autopilot, but when you get into the schedule, you barely have time. You go to lunch, you go to meetings, and the meetings are scheduled and planned, and you're barely getting everything done. You go to practice, and now you have this tape to watch, individual tape. So as far as a point of emphasis or something like that, over the course of time, there may be some things that start to come up, and he may notice, or some other coach may notice, hey, let's talk about that. But it really doesn't need to be like directed at this point, at least right now.
Chris, going back to left guard, is it an open competition, or if Connor just latches onto it and gives you no reason to take him off the field, is it going to be his job?
We're going to play the best 5 players as we can, and at left guard we brought guys in to compete at the left guard spot. Now he's the incumbent, and nobody else has done anything to beat him out to this point. So right now, what you're saying is true because he's held it, but we've yet to get to live bullets and see what's happening out there. So.
It's only been 1 practice, but how do you think some of the veteran players have responded to the situation with Kyle? And do you bring, that leadership group together and talk to them specifically about, maybe you have more vocal responsibility because we don't have our head coach right now, or how's that dynamic work?
I think, it was addressed yesterday. John addressed the team to begin with, and I think we have a great core group of leaders. And like I said, we have a bunch of guys that love playing football, and they just want to go out and practice and get better and play and be coached. And Kyle's leadership is obviously going to be missed. Nobody knows the length of time, and so how much of that needs to occur at this point. Right now, we're just going to work and filling in for Kyle as we can as a group, and the players are doing the same thing. Obviously they feel for Kyle and they want him back out there. We all do, but they're going to come to work. They're pros and they work their tails off every day, and they're a great group to be around. There's none of that, well, what if, no excuse making, well, Kyle's not here type of thing. These guys are awesome that way.
When and how did you learn you were going to be taking on this role, and was that at a different time than when you learned of the accident initially?
When did the statement come out? That's when I saw my name, okay? That's when I saw my name. I knew that we'd all have to pick up the slack. So I knew that once Kyle wasn't, we didn't know. You just don't know. Every day the thing could flip and he can do more and more. So we just don't know how it's going to be. So when I saw my name on it, I said, oh, okay, it's going to be that. And then, but it was going to be the group effort. We always knew that. We were talking for days before, what if he couldn't do it? Clay, Kyle, Raheem, Boyer and I, we were all talking about how we could fill in the blanks if needed. And then obviously yesterday they said, you're going to be doing the pressers. I said, well, I don't think I'm doing the pressers. And then, well, here I am. So.
What was your initial reaction when you heard the news?
Oh, shoot, I'm fired up. I'm excited, not from the standpoint of I'm fired up from the standpoint of, like it's, oh, Kyle's down, this is my big no, it's just like I love the opportunity to help. My thing, what I learned a long, long time ago, I believe leadership is you serve in leadership. You help people by serving, and servant leadership is any way I can help. Any way I can help Kyle, any way I can help the 49ers, any way I can help John Lynch, any way I can help my players, any way I can help you guys, anything I can do to help. That's where I get a charge out of life. That I learned that through a lot of difficult times in my life. That being that way. So this is another opportunity to stand up here. And you guys that were here before, I like getting up here and talking about football. It's not about me. I like talking ball. I like sharing football. I think it's a great game. It's a great sport, and a lot of people don't understand it. And if you have a chance to learn a little more, I like to talk about it because I love the game.
I noticed a lot more people, a lot of staff, and maybe even some coaches shaking your hand at the beginning of practice. Was one practice enough for you to start feeling comfortable in your new role? Is it going to take time as this evolves?
It's going to evolve. I'm the line coach out there. I have to break the team down, have a couple other responsibilities right now. We're doing it as a group, and who knows? Tomorrow we'll be shaking Raheem's hand. I mean, it's everybody's kind of it's kind of tongue in cheek. Hey, head coach, how you doing? That type of thing. No, I'm the line coach, and I'm helping along as we go.
What have been your early impressions of Mike Evans?
Man, I love having him out there. The guy's, obviously he's a real pro. His skill set and the things he does well are going to add so much to our football team. We saw a play today in the red zone and OTAs. There's just so many places where Mike's going to help our football team, and I'm very excited to have him.
What conversations have you had with Kyle, and how has he talked to you about approaching this position now?
Which one? I'm sorry, which position?
The coach, Kyle.
With my position? Yeah, I did. I had the one conversation, and I think what he said to me was, hey, you do whatever you want. I have a lot of confidence in you. You know how we do things. You do whatever you want to do, and if you don't want to do it, delegate it to somebody else, man. He said, you do what you feel's right and lead that way. And he said, I trust that you'll do anything you want to do, and anything you want to delegate.
Have you delegated anything?
Yeah, I delegated this morning's team meeting out to offense and defense, and we decided to do it that way today instead of doing a team meeting, and we'll see as we go each day what it is, and that's about it right now.
Chris, how important is continuity on a coaching staff in a situation like this? You guys have been around each other for a lot of years.
Phenomenal. It's awesome. That's the great thing. And even with Raheem being new, he knows how we do things. We had the spring together, and these guys have known each other for a long time. Man, continuity is everything. And with the players, with the coaches, like I say, I don't want to say autopilot because it's never autopilot. We got to work our tail off to get good and compete every single day. We obviously, it's a tough division and a tough league. But these guys, having these guys that have been here, knowing how we do things, man, it's day after day after day. We know the routine. We know the tempo. We know what it should look like. And boy, there shouldn't be any loss of any. We lose one step in this process.
If Kyle's absence lingers into the season, do you feel like this staff would be uniquely equipped to survive the absence of a head coach?
And I think we're going too far. It's hard to say at this point, but I mean, I think the one thing I will say I will say that of all the guys that have worked with Kyle, in that offensive coordinator / passing coordinator role. Clay Kubiak has been the most prepared, most really, really good. Clay does a hell of a job with what he does, and that's where this is really kind of seamless when you get to the scripting and the game and calling it into practice and stuff like that. Those two have been lockstep. They've really co-done things a lot. It's been a really cool thing to see.
Chris, you and Kyle go way back. How scary, just on a personal level, was it to get that initial phone call?
Yeah, I'm not gonna, cry up here in this first one. Okay, so tough question. I'm not afraid to cry, but the thing is, the guy's he's family to me. This whole organization. Kyle, I've known Kyle for a long time. He's one of my best friends in the world by far. There's not many people that I call friend, and for a lot of reasons, and Kyle's one of them. And he and his wife Mandy are like family to me. This organization did some things for me and pulled me in at a time in my life when nobody would really want to be with me. And Kyle, along with John and the whole York family, have stood by me, and that loyalty is never going to be forgotten. And he's a close friend, and it scares the crap out of you when something like this happens to somebody so close. And I can only imagine. I was thinking the day after, as was Mandy, I'm thinking his wife. I felt like, gosh, what's she going through to pull up and, whatever the situation. I'm not sure of all the details, but I just think the whole thing is just very, very tough, and it was difficult for me, obviously.
Three more guys. Coach, this offense can be tough for a young wide receiver. What have you seen from Dejon Strickland and for that his football IQ is for you?
He's awesome, man. He's phenomenal. He's everything that I think we thought he would be, and in more when he came out. Just mature, strong, fast, physical, understands the game, lines up the formations, very professional about things. He's been so good in everything we thought he could be. It's really nice to see.
Same question for Keelan Black.
Same thing. Very mature, older. I think he's an older kid. I think his age is older. I think they're just mature, and he's got a great understanding of the game, a very, very professional attitude about everything he does.
What have you seen from Osa Odigizua?
He's done very well so far. His presence has been felt since the minute he's got here.
Good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Can I ask you the obvious question? I mean, it had to be a shock to hear about Kyle. It's like, when did you hear, and what was your first reaction?
I heard when everybody else heard. I think social media. So, obviously getting able to read the story all in one and know that he's okay instead of getting a call like, hey, you had a wreck, he in the hospital, and you're having to worry and, pray that he's all right. Reading the story, I could tell, by reading, I knew he was okay. So I just wanted to come in and holler at him, and see how he's doing. Everything's fine, and took it like a champ.
Seeing him today out on the field, did you expect to see that? And what did that mean to you? What did it mean to the team?
I mean, I knew it would be tough to keep him away from there. I know it's going to be hard to keep him, for him to get his rest. He's not that type of person, so it don't surprise me at all seeing him out there.
And you guys as vet leaders always are trying to step up and handle that role, but with Kyle's situation, is there a little bit more urgency just in this moment to do anything?
Nah, we got a lot of vets, man. He really can be on autopilot. We got that locker room.
You've been with Chris Foerster for a long time. What is it like to see him kind of take over the role? I know it's probably second nature to him.
Yeah, it sounds like it's second nature. Just watching him address the team. He's always been he's been doing this longer than everybody in that locker room been alive, probably except for me. So it's like a hand in glove fit, man. Me personally, I'm so proud of him just watching him. Even just be a head coach for a day, or no matter how long it is, just, we go so far back. He's family to me. So just seeing him in that position, I'm just really proud.
Given the wear and tear of last season, obviously you've done this year after year, but was there anything different in your off-season workouts or routines that you did getting ready to come into this season?
I wouldn't say anything different. Just every year I try to be a little bit more intentional on something. This offseason was just really more so focused on remaining explosive, speed training and stuff, just trying to continue to be nimble at the, spry age of 38. So, but for the most part, I kept everything pretty much the same.
You went down for a second in practice. Everything okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got tripped.
Don't need to get into too many specifics, but Raheem was thinking this, he's going to throw some different things out there. Were there some different things, line formations, things that you saw in the team drills today?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everything's different. We've been going against the same defense on a team, in a team environment since I've been here. It's always been the 4 down front. So yeah, it's all different. It's all, obviously we're not brand new to it. We played it a lot, and when Rob was in LA, played in last year in Atlanta. It's actually one of those defenses that a lot of people tend to throw in their repertoire. So, getting work on it early in camp and being able to do it as much as we have, I think it's going to help us in the season.
I got trouble for asking, but the 5-man line is what you're talking about, or different kinds of things of that?
Yeah, like a 5-man front, or, the presentation of a 5-man front, and, really dropping one out and, playing those games with the quarterback, with the protection. It's one of those defenses you got to be on top of it.
You're looking forward to one-on-one reps with Bosa again now that he's back to health, and it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I mean, speaking of Bosa, though, he looks like, I see him every day. I couldn't even tell that he had an injury or he came back from anything. Most people with a knee injury that's catastrophic, you come back, you can see something, right? You can see it in the atrophy in the muscle in the legs. You can see something. I mean, Bosa looks better than he did before I seen him last year. So, before he got hurt last year. So that's just a commitment to him and how hard he works. And, a guy that's successful with that much, for him, his motor to still run as high as it do, I think it's just a testament to his character.
You had a chance to use the new hydrotherapy area, and how important is that just during the season to have access to? How much will you use it? Will you and Nick use it, et cetera, et cetera?
That's like basically going to be home for the next 6 months. So, yeah, I'm an old man. I'm going to be in that hot tub for sure. And to answer your question, I use it, right before practice. So, it's just to see the ownership continue to put money back into the facility, into the staff, just to get to make our job easier, to give us more opportunities to be the best players we can. It's just hats off to them. It's not like that all around the league, and we're super blessed, super lucky to have that ownership group.
Trent, I know you've been open about this deal could be your last and maybe life after football. Does that change your urgency as you enter this camp?
I wouldn't say it changed my urgency, but it does change my mind frame a little bit. Like, instead of just coming to work, I actually, I try to soak it in. I just don't know. Obviously, it could be my last 2 years. It probably is the plan. So I'm just really trying to soak in every day, build these relationships, take advantage of it, man, because once that window closes, it generally don't open back up.
Trent, there's five new guys in your room. That's a lot for an offensive line. What do you think of the bonding process, and has that already begun?
Yeah, it's already begun. Starting in OTAs, we really got a good group of guys. They work hard. Very, very talented group. They did a really good job of putting the right people in the O-line room. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see Connor in his second year. I'm excited to see him compete. For the left guard spot. I'm excited to see all those new guys. I'm excited. I love the group we have, and I think obviously the job's not done. We got a long way to go, but if this team is going to do anything special, we're going to have to play in a special way.
With Kyle, as long as you've had, being with him as long as you've been, you've seen so many future head coaches come through the offensive coaching staff. What's unique about Clay?
Basically the same thing. Very innovative, just one of those football minds that has the knowledge that it would take a lifetime to learn. And he's been around football his entire life, similar to Kyle. So, grew up in a coaching household, and I think all of it has rubbed off on him and his brother for that sake. And Clay's an amazing coach. Obviously, whoever gets him as a head coach is going to be blessed. I see a really bright future for Clay, and I'm just happy we got him for as long as we got him for.
What's the biggest difference you see in Connor Colby the guy you played with for 6 starts last year to the Connor Colby of today?
Just confidence. Confidence. And as an O-lineman, you can see confidence not in just your personality, it's more in the movements and how you can see his pass sets and how he's coming off the ball. He's just sure of himself. And last year, you can tell that we throw a lot at him. And a lot of the things we know today took us 5-6 years to learn. So anytime you get a guy coming in first year, as much as we want him to be the best he can be, realistically, that information is too much for any one person in 1 year. So I can tell now he is very confident in which direction he's going, and he knows his plays inside now. And now it's allowing him to be the player he know he can be when the ball is snapped.
Think of Chris breaking down the team today, and was it the Chris you're used to seeing in
Yeah. Like I said, the one thing that Coach Foerster does he just has a knack for, and that's just speaking to people, speaking to a large body of people, whether it be a team, whether it be a clinic, whether it be the O-line room. He knows how to relate. He knows how to get your attention. That's just one of his gifts. And so watching him break down the team, watching him address the team in team meetings, did the ball meeting a little last year. He just, he's one of the people that when he talks, everybody listens. Everybody has a ton of respect for him. And, I think he's a mouth you want to hear. He's a mouth that you want addressing your team if Coach Shanahan can.
Were you surprised that yesterday was the first you heard about Kyle's accident, even though it happened a couple weeks earlier?
I was surprised a little bit, but seeing how jacked up he was, I don't blame him for not picking up the phone and sending out a mass alert. Hey, I've been in the wreck. I appreciate him thinking about himself first and recovering it before he told everybody.
And, John Lynch said yesterday you were with him, or you guys were together at a firehouse. Is that when you received word of Kyle's injuries? And can you kind of take us through that from your standpoint?
Yeah, I actually found out a few days before that. I think Mandy, Kyle's wife, let me and my wife know about the incident, and of course my first reaction was just trying to make sure everybody was good, everybody was okay. And yeah, I mean, it's scary, right? Any type of car accident, you just never know what the severity of it is. But luckily, everybody seems to be on the up and up and doing well. So just super blessed in that way. And I know Kyle's just, I'm sure, itching to be back. And there's no rush where this thing just keeps rolling, business as usual. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but he's good. Everybody's good. So we roll.
Up a little bit on the practice field there in between some drills. What was that like? And just he's got the sunglasses.
That's right. Yeah, I told him he had a great disguise with the sunglasses on. But no, he looks good. It's good to see him out there, and seems to be in great spirits. So it was good to see him.
Were you surprised that he was out there on the first day of training camp after this?
No, I know he can't stay away. I know he's given up his duties for a little bit, but he's that guy's obsessed with ball. So I'm sure of course he's going to be around.
Fred, over the years of getting to know Chris Foerster, what would have been your impressions of him, and then how does he kind of handle, a few added extra responsibilities right now?
Yeah, he's been awesome, man. All my time being here, Chris has been outstanding as our offensive line coach, but also just as one of the leaders of the team. I know Kyle's asked him to speak in front of the team before, and he's not shy in doing so. He has plenty to say and has great command of the room. So, it's super easy to just have him up there in front of us leading the troops while Kyle's gone, and he's just an awesome cat, so we all love him.
What's your first impressions of Raheem and what he's bringing to you guys this year?
Yeah, I love Raheem, man. I love everything that he's bringing thus far. I know you'll probably be out there watching us and see some different looks and sort of those things, and maybe some similarities too, but the thing that will always remain true is just the style of play, right? That's always got to come first and show through in the biggest way, and I think that comes from guys like myself, Dre, all the leaders of our defense really leading the way in that aspect. So, we're not happy with anything that we've done or accomplished. It's always about seeing where we could get better every single day, and so that obviously that starts today.
Saying that definitely a lot of different things he's seen on defense. With a lot of things just thrown out today, or do you think it's going to be pretty different defense?
I guess time will tell, right? We've definitely installed some new things, some new looks. Obviously, for past 8 years or however long Trent's been here for sure, it's been very similar system, similar looks with the 4 down front, and now we're having some of that 5 down looks, different coverages and things of that sort. And so it's new for all of us. We all got to learn on my end, and obviously for them, they can't just be like, oh, I know exactly what they're running. Let's just book it up. So it's just great for competition and for everybody getting better out there during this time.
Like that number 57 next to you had a little bit of bounce. This is your first training camp back with him, first practice back with him. What was that like, and what was he like?
Yeah, I mean, it's just been special from the moment he gave me that phone call telling me that he was coming back. Man, it's been super special, and of course, I think today kind of met every expectation. I just, even days leading up to today, I've been having to tell him like, hey, bro, like, relax, because he's just been amped up, ready to go, and so. It's just great having him back, man. Like I've always talked about, he's one of the best football players I've ever played with, and just his passion for the game, his mentality, having a guy like that besides you just gives you so much confidence as a player to go out there and rock out. So it's great having him back.
Fred, do you carry a new perspective hitting the field after everything that you dealt with last year?
Yeah, of course. That was the first time I missed extended time, and I think before that even happened, though, I understood this. This is a violent game, and you put your bodies on the line every single day and every single time you step out there. So I understood that, and I even preached that to the guys before getting injured of how important it is to really treat every day like it's your last. And but it is different when you do go through that, right? And then you're actually faced with that reality. And so being back out there today, it did mean a lot, and just to feel. Better than I ever have, to be able to, feel the same movements and everything like that was important too. So it's just really just climbing from here.
Have a jog through, characterized as a jog through practice on Tuesday, which is different. Is it your understanding that that's being done to, minimize injuries, a conditioning thing? How would you explain it?
Well, I'm not sure, because I haven't experienced it yet. So I'll be able to tell you more once we actually go through it. But I know they're obviously meticulous in everything that they do from a scheduling standpoint. It's our job as players to just go out there and give it your all with whatever you're being asked to do. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Fred Lynch said yesterday that he thinks that the attendance was so great in the off-season camps largely because you were there and you're the leader. Are you cognizant of that, hey, you know what, I got to show up because these guys are looking at me?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a part of it, but also I understand that, there's a standard of play that I have to meet every single year, and so I have to make sure, first and foremost, that I'm the best player possible for our team, right? So I got to make sure I'm in tip-top shape. If I'm the guy who's going to look at you in the face and tell you need to sprint to the ball every play, I better be the one getting there, beating you to it, right? So it always starts with me putting the work in first, and then secondly, it's like, well, yeah, like if you want to develop a team and the best group of guys possible, obviously it's beneficial to train together in the off season and kind of be able to push each other rather than being apart. But at the end of the day, there's different ways to get from point A to point B. Guys train different places. It's not the end all be all if you're here or not, but we're all here now.
Fred, I'm sure last season didn't go the way Nick Martin wanted it to, but where is he right now from what you've observed and just maybe what he did learn from last year and how he's carrying it over to an opportunity, it seems like, this year for that third linebacker spot?
Yeah, I think Nick's in a great spot, man. I think he's way more confident in his abilities and obviously learning the scheme now, which usually happens for a guy going from as being a rookie into your second year. It's not just about the plays and like the play speed and everything. It's honestly just about familiarity with just the building, like your teammates, coaching staff, your environment. Coming into the NFL, it's a big jump from college. So, I'm sure he wanted to be more involved as a rookie. Sometimes it's just not how it goes. This obviously is a new opportunity for him. He's put the work in. He's been here all offseason training his butt off. So, he's put himself in a great position to compete.
Just talking about Bosa and how he looks like he didn't have an injury at all. I don't know if you want to contradict that, but have you been surprised by kind of where he is right now?
No, I'm not surprised. Nick is one of the hardest workers and guys who's more, so in tune with his body. And having gone through that injury before, he obviously knows the steps and things that he has to do and accomplish in order to get back on top and be the guy that he's always been, right? So, I'm not surprised one bit.
What do you think about Jaden Duggar? and Larry Ward.
Say that one more time.
What do you think about the rookies, Jaden Duggar and Larry Ward?
Yeah, I think they're great. You know, rookies, man. I've learned is, you know, I've been in this thing a little while now. I've learned you can't judge a rookie before the pads come on, right? It's not that they haven't played in pads before, but you know, at this level, football is played with pads, and so you know, I'll start making my judgments once the pads come on.
Nick said that his hands have felt better than they ever have during OTAs. Having missed some football yourself, do you feel even more healthy, more rejuvenated? I mean, it sucks to miss football, but you could take care of your body.
Yeah, I guess there are pros to missing an extended amount of time for your body, right? But I'd rather not miss time. I'll say that. But yeah, I mean, I always feel great coming into every year, and then of course this year is the same way. Just a new fire, new motivation, desire. Body feels obviously fresher from not having all those impacts throughout last season. So I guess there is some benefit to that.
Fred, with Kyle out, do you and the other leaders on the team feel like you need to do anything extra or have other conversations that you might not normally have from a leadership perspective, given that there's a void there with your head coach not being out there?
Not so far, no. I don't think there hasn't been any extra needed conversations amongst us. I think it's just kind of understood at this point, right? We understand what the task at hand. You know, I told the group out there before we got started after the stretch, like, you know, it's business as usual. Like, we got to get after each other. We got to compete. We got to get better. You know, we're our own competition at this point. So it's about just every day trying to get better than we were the day before.
All right, do you need that first tackle in, I don't know, training camp or preseason just to get that confidence? Like, all right, I'm back.
No, tackling, that's like riding a bike. You just run through their face.